a Kentucky sheriff charged with murdering a judge. Okay. As we said in Kentucky, Letcher County Sheriff Shawn Mickey Stines charged with murdering District Court Judge Kevin Mullins in his chambers. Stines is jailed in the Letcher County Detention Center.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show.
See the mugshot there. Charged with firing multiple shots, killing Letcher County District Court Judge Kevin Mullins, age 54, after an argument at the Letcher County Courthouse September 19. Stines surrendered without incident at the courthouse. Mountain Eagle of Whitesburg has reported the shooting was recorded on video in the judge's office. Kentucky Lantern with the details here. Days before the alleged shooting, Stines gave an 8-hour deposition in a federal court case alleging a former Letcher County deputy forced a woman to have sex in lieu of paying court fines the woman couldn't afford. Stines is a defendant in that suit for allegedly failing to properly supervise the deputy. It has been stayed in light of the criminal charge for murder, that criminal charge against Stines. Now, if you can believe it, he is still the sheriff in Letcher County. He's still the sheriff. It's unbelievable. Still the sheriff until he would actually resign or be removed, said Jerry Wagner, executive director of the Kentucky Sheriff's Association. Once you're elected, you are elected through an election cycle, Wagner said. The situation facing Letcher County is unlike any he's seen. County sheriffs in Kentucky have wide-ranging powers to enforce the laws of the state, along with carrying out a number of lesser-known but important duties, including tax collection, vehicle inspections, providing security for local court proceedings. Isn't that ironic? Providing security for local court proceedings. Wow. Wagner, who served as Fleming County Sheriff for nearly 20 years, said it was customary for a chief deputy to take over his duties when he was unable to perform them. Kentucky State Police Trooper Matt Gayhart, public affairs officer for KSP Post 13, which serves Letcher County, told the Lantern it's his understanding the Letcher County Sheriff's Office is planning to install an interim head, hopefully one not accused of murder. Hopefully. We'll see. We'll see. Interim head, though we didn't know if an interim leader has been named. Attempts by the Lantern to reach the Letcher County Sheriff's Office were unsuccessful. Now, under Kentucky law, we can tell you Governor Andy Beshear has the power to remove a peace officer for neglect of duty. Alternatively, the Kentucky legislature has the power to impeach and convict elected officials to remove an official from office, which lawmakers did in 2023 with a former Commonwealth's attorney. Now, this is a mess, okay? And I've often made this point, probably here on this show, Fran, that when you're the sheriff, people don't realize you go to elect the sheriff, what it means. He can tax you, he can arrest you, he can do just about, and he has really no boss. You heard it right there, okay? They've got to jump through some hoops to get rid of this accused murderer, innocent till proven guilty, but they said it was on video. What do you make of this scandal in Kentucky, and what should happen right now?
I mean, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the ways that the right spins a story, like, you know, that they have to fabricate, right? Like, you know, if this were an immigrant who was not documented, who shot a judge or didn't shoot a judge, shot a random person, right? We would be leading with this. I mean, Fox News would freak out about it. It would be, they would never, ever, ever forget that person's name, even if, as in one of the cases that Donald Trump brought up, that undocumented immigrant literally found a gun, went off in his hand, and it killed a random bystander. And it was a tragedy, literal tragedy. Here is a case of a community that we have been talking about for decades, that we all are concerned about, which are the cops, the sheriffs, the people who enforce the laws and who are armed to the teeth, killing a judge for what? investigating him and his malpractice, sexually assaulting or coercing someone into, to perform favors instead of paying a fine. This is absolute criminality inside of the police force, inside of the sheriff's department. And then what happens? The judge gets murdered for trying to investigate it. It is wild. I'm just saying, if we actually focused on where the real crime was in this country, if we actually focused on the real perpetrators of the most violent crimes, we would be talking about sheriff's departments across this nation, police departments across this nation, and acts like this in Kentucky, which you will not hear a peep from right-wing news about. But it is like, remember the name Kevin Mullins, who's the judge who was murdered here, right? Remember the name of this gentleman, Stines, Mickey Stines. That sounds, God, I mean, that sounds like a mob name, right? The
Wow.
mob is alive and well. They
Yep.
just hide in the police department.
Yeah. I think what you said is not propaganda. It's not some far out thing. We're watching it in real time, Fran.